guys, it's Chris, aka Beauty and the Vape. We're here at NVE in Foxwoods, our hometown and home state, and we are collecting vape stories. And we have one of my favorite people in the whole world. I just love this man to death, and his wife's right over there, so I have to be quiet. You guys are awesome. I love you guys so much. We still have to do dinner. We're not that far away from each other.
No, I know.
Tommy Vaperz, and he's here to tell his vape story. Tommy, when did you start smoking, and how long did you smoke for?
All right, I smoked for over 38 years. I started smoking when I was 9 years old. And on June 17th of 2013 was my last cigarette. What had happened was, prior to 2 months before that is when I started electronic cigarettes, and I was doing both. But getting up to that, over the years, I tried with the gum, the patch, hypnosis, cold turkey, Chantix. Chantix was the worst. I mean, I wanted to jump out my bedroom window. That's how bad Chantix was. Each and everything I tried to help me quit made me want to go back to smoking more. And then, like I said, so you fast forward up to where I started trying electronic cigarettes. And when I first got it, I want to say it was an Enjoy. I picked it up at a little store, and I tried it. I knew at that point right there that this wasn't the answer, but it was the right road to get me off in cigarettes.
Like it was close.
Yeah, it was enough for it to let me know that this is the right way to go. This is the healthier way to go. I can have my cake and eat it too. And that's really what it is. And that's what vapors are really all they want. They want to be able to have a healthier choice in life, but yet they don't want, I mean, there's so many people that have that hand and mouth and everything. This is the best way going forward. And then you can bring yourself down. So when I got to that point, I started vaping, and, well, if you want to call those cigarettes vaping, it still is vaping. And I tried that, and I was double deucing on both of them, smoking and that. I started rolling cigarettes as well, just to keep up, just so I could afford buying those little cigalikes, 2 of them a day, and I still needed to smoke. So I was rolling cigarettes. Well, a few of my friends and family members all decided, that's not a bad idea, let's all try to quit together. And we'll all pick up different devices and see what works. Well, and then we were doing it on, wasn't Google, it was on, what is the other one that they used to use before Google? It was a chat, but you could video chat back and forth with everybody.
MSN or something like that?
Like that. We were just using that back and forth, and we would have like a little round table meeting every night or once a week, but at first it was every night, and then it got to be like once a week. Well, then eventually...
That's a good idea. Yeah. That's super cool.
It really was, and it sounded good at the beginning. And then all of a sudden they were like, why don't we just send you the devices and you could talk about them on... I'm like, okay, wait a minute here. How did this become this? You know?
How are you getting out of this? This isn't right.
So I agreed to it. And that's really when I started to take off, and I realized there's a lot more devices out there. So I started looking for better devices. And then I went from the cigalikes up to an Ego, and that really brought me to the cusp of being able to say, okay, I'm good. And then I went and got a Pro Tank, and then I stopped. I stopped smoking altogether, and I was only vaping. And I just knew that was the way to go. At that point, I was already getting established on YouTube, and I enjoyed being able to bring different components, different juices to everybody, and hopefully someone, and to this day I still say the same thing, I touch a lot of different products. Hopefully I can find one thing that can help one person say, that's it, I don't need any more cigarettes anymore. And that is really how this whole thing has come all together as one for that, because I want to touch as many parts, and if I can help one person every day, if one person watches one of my videos and that helps that person not smoke anymore, life is good. That's nothing else better than that, because and then I get thank yous and everything, and to me that's what drives me. I love when someone emails me, sends me a little message and says, thank you, this right here, because of this I'm no longer smoking. That is such a natural high. I just love that.
And I think as far as like community too, I mean, there's really nothing like the vaping community. We've, all being ex-smokers, you go outside in the smoking area, you have a cigarette, but you don't really sit and talk to people. You kind of just do your thing and then go back into work or whatever the deal is. And here it's family.
It really is, and that's one of the nice, unique parts about vaping is like you said, when you're sitting there in a smoking area, people are just sitting there smoking because they really have nothing to be excited about. They're going to have either tobacco or menthol. Kind of boring. You don't know if you got a vapor next to you, if he's going to be vaping on strawberry, watermelon, ice cream, cotton candy.
Yeah, and you want to hear about it.
And all of a sudden you're like, wow, you can get that, and now you're excited. So it just makes it, it's just such an open. How can I explain it here? It's just such an open system for everyone to be able to join together, and that's really, it's just amazing. You go from one booth here, one booth to the next. You've already made a friend just by being able to stop and enjoy a vape with that person. Can you do that with a cigarette? No. Most people that wanted to have a cigarette, they're like, hey, you got a cigarette? And then they leave you.
You're not the first person to say that. That's so true. And I mean, I've been that person. I'm sure you've been that person. So that's so true. Instead of,
you're like, no, I vape. And they're like, oh, sorry. Why be sorry? Here, I'll give you a device. Here's a better way of life. It might not be the total answer, but it's going to make it the healthier answer. And again, it gets back to that having your cake and eat it too, because this is not going to give you the cancer. It's not going to give you the emphysema. It's not going to give you the breathing problems that smoking will do. You're not getting the ash. You're not getting that tar put into your system. And that's what causes all the health problems. And again, there's just an evil part to that health problem, why big tobacco, big pharma, and all the government wants to keep onto that, because there's more money in sick people than there is in healthy people. And if you take the average person that retires, that's a smoker, will only live about 10 more years after they retire. The average person that does not smoke is going to live about 20 years. So if you have a lot of people that are not smoking now, the government's already complaining that they don't have money to pay for Social Security for people. So if people are living longer, they're losing more money again. There's too many governments that have borrowed money against future revenue that are not getting it now. That you take the state of California, they've borrowed money from 15 years in advance of state revenue from cigarettes that they are no longer getting, and that's why they are one of the highest rates of taxes on vaping. And that's all these governments that are behind. That is how they're trying to get their money back. They don't care about the normal human being. They don't care about health. They want the bottom line because they want to be able to keep their golden goose with them. And when we quit smoking, we take away from their golden goose.
And that's so it's so sad that something could come down to, I mean, someone's life or money.
That's all that matters to them is money. And like I said, there's money in health programs for them. If people are getting healthy, there's nothing for them to do. They're not going to get the funding. So again, they're losing money while people are getting healthy. And that's why they want to make vaping such a bad thing when it's not a bad thing.
And it's funny, I have a whole list here, and you have answered, I think, every question. I'm like, okay. No, it's good. The only thing, like, if you had one thing, like one main point, I mean, I know we could go on forever about this, but if there was one main point that you could tell your representatives, what would it be? Whether it's advice or, just what would that be? It's a hard question. I'm sorry.
What would I tell Representative if I could? Let us make our own choices for our own health, because this is the healthier choice, and we need that support. That's all I say is let us make that. When you have no idea what this has actually done, we've had many of doctors say that vaping is 95% healthier than smoking. You're taking that away altogether. Fight for us where it is healthier and let us be the free country that we're supposed to be and make our own decisions.
Amen. That's a good one. I like that. So thank you so much. I love you. And Tommy Vapers live every Friday night. Check out his show. It's amazing.